Now, Charlamagne, in the last hour, you asked me a question about Diddy, the alleged guns that they found, or they found them, but that they're alleging are his, the AR-15s, and how that relates to the indictment. So I found the exact answer to that. So the special agent Gerard Gannon that was talking about the AR-15s is talking about this because in the indictment, they are trying to say that Diddy himself allegedly would brandish firearms to intimidate others. So it is to the gist of what I was mentioning to you, but I wanted to make sure I answered that. Now, moving on, in other court things, or trying to get back to court things, Tory Lanez has had the people up in arms these last couple of weeks after he was stabbed 14 times because there are now representatives and different people that are pushing for him to be released. So there is a woman, her name is Rep. Luna. She is from Florida's Anna Paulina Luna of Florida's 13th district. She is calling for Tory Lanez's freedom, and she sat down with Chris Cuomo on News Nation and had a conversation about this. Let's take a listen.
This case was actually initially flagged for me by Amber Rose, and the reason why I took particular interest in it is because of the fact that they actually had evidence that they presented to me in my office that actually disproved the conviction. So as you stated earlier, that 0.01% of DNA, they actually found 4 people's DNA on that firearm, none of which was Tory's. Not to mention there was 0 fingerprints on the actual magazine, and also too, as you said, 0.01% chance. Also, there's been ring footage that's been obtained that actually disproves the whole dance, Megan. I actually reached out today to Gavin Newsom's office, and we are requesting an emergency meeting.
So, Luna, who did it?
You know, Chris, that's not for me to weigh in, and that's definitely for the judge and the jury. But what I will tell you is based on the evidence that we have. The evidence that we have says that he wasn't the guy.
What's the evidence they have now? You said the ring camera?
She said the ring camera. She said that she talked about the DNA, that there were 4 people's DNA found on the gun.
People knew that. That's why it was inconclusive.
Yeah, and I think that when people talk about this whole DNA thing, they need to understand that inconclusive means that, yeah, they weren't able to fully rule him. I mean, they weren't able to fully say he 100% had the gun, but they weren't able to rule him out either. So it doesn't make it that he didn't have it. It leaves it open. It's inconclusive.
Yeah, I don't remember them saying 4 people. I just remember them saying it was a male and a female.
Yeah, she's saying 4. She said a lot of things. 'Cause even that ring camera thing, they had an eyewitness that testified about, different things as well too. There's a lot of things that you can debunk in what she's saying or throw information back at what she's saying. But I think overall, a judge ruled that Tory Lanez was guilty. And until it is back in front of a judge and there's anything else that is said, who are we to be making Meg Thee Stallion's life horrible because of what's happening? Regardless of how you feel, I think it should be left up to a court. Now, there's a TikToker online who said the gist of what I just said. No, look, so this TikToker, she went online and she's like, look, y'all out here arguing about this Tory Lanez thing, and she threw this at Tory's team. She said, take it to a judge. Don't bring it to us online. Don't have press conferences. Take it to a judge.
It's that simple. And I said this earlier this week. Like, we're acting like this didn't go through a court of law. Like, it was a due process. It was weeks and weeks of testimony. It was evidence that was presented. I don't understand how all of that can happen. But then one random person in a car says, I overheard somebody say something. And everybody just rushes to just, act like what happened in court isn't true. And by the way, I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened. I'm just telling you this is what played out in court.
And then he just saying this is what he heard. He just now said this is what he heard.
And he heard all of this while the trial was going on. Why didn't you say something then?
Right. Well, okay, so SZA commented. The reason why this TikToker's video is kind of everywhere right now is because SZA came in and commented in defense of Meg Thee Stallion. She said the density in response to the video. She said, I'm actually so shocked, and so is in all caps, at the amount of people fully comfortable with bullying a woman that's proven to be a victim of assault. Like, out loud, where other people can see you. Like, you finna be stupid out loud, and she capitalized out loud. So
I just don't understand how all the evidence and testimony that happened in a court of law weighs less than just some guy who said I overheard her say X, Y, and Z. I don't understand why people's brains work like that. I'd rather listen to this person who said they overheard something, but didn't feel like it was urgent enough to say it while the trial was happening. But now he speaks out and you just agree with him as opposed to everything you hear in court. I'd rather you just shut up and not say nothing and not be on any side. It makes no sense. It only makes sense online.
Could it be Tory got stabbed and he's like, you know what? This has gone too far. Let me say what I heard 4 or 5 years ago.
But you
when
should have
this
said
happened.
it while the trial was happening.
But that's what I'm saying.
Well,
though.
he's alleging that he was put in a bad position by his attorneys at that time and he couldn't.
And who got this ring? Who house got the ring camera footage?
I'm not for sure.
That's my
I'm
people
not
are just
for sure.
saying
Where was they
stuff.
It's all kinds. Like, do people know where they was? Like, where they was at? Where this whole thing started?
Yeah, they were outside of the party. It was like 4:30 in the morning. They were in a place.
I know, but whose house? Is it out
oh.
there? Whose house it was?
And if that lady saw ring camera footage, where is the footage? Like, people just be throwing stuff online and folks just run towards it and gravitate towards it and repeat it and use it to justify how they feel.
Because apparently, like, allegedly they were at a big celebrity's house.
Yeah, and
Having
then
fun.
we had one of the Jenners, and then they left.
Yeah.
Kylie.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. I just all I'm saying is that if Tory feels like he was wronged, he can take it to court. That is his right to do so. But
How do you take it? I take it to court. How? You were in court.
They can attempt. They've been attempting. They write letters to the judges. There's things that you can do to attempt to get a judge to reconsider. Just do that. But I think people's main thing is like, until that's done, please let's back off of making a person's life miserable, because all we got right now is what was ruled on, and we're gonna leave it there. But speaking of people online and rulings, why Meek insert himself in this Diddy stuff?
Yes, I just saw him the other day. Y'all stop talking about me.
First
Stop
of all,
saying this.
What do you mean Meek inserted himself in Diddy?
Meek-
I don't like how you
He
said
did
that.
not say that. She
That's
did
what
not
you
say
just
that.
said.
No,
What are you talking about?
No, not in Diddy, but in the Diddy stuff. So he tweeted a couple
And
days.
Diddy don't
What is
get
Diddy
bended.
stuff?
Diddy
So,
don't get bended. He do the bending. So ain't nobody.
I don't
inserting.
believe that.
Meek
All right.
tweeted just to put on public record. No, he had tweeted something else before this. He was talking about the little Rod guy or whatever, right? But then he goes to clarify what he actually saw at Diddy parties. He said the craziest thing he's seen at a Puff party is coke vibes, and that's going on at all these parties. I'm from North Philly. I had millions since I was 23. I don't even want to be addicted to weed. Not judging, but I see it different. His original tweet said, in the midst of Diddy on federal trial, I want to bring back up that Little Rod and his lawsuit was dropped. He never said my name, and these blogs amplified that whole agenda against me. My culture don't believe it, but it's an attack on my brand. I want to get to the bottom of it. So
What happened now?
remember they brought Meek into it. Remember they said the rapper from Philly originally in some of the civil
So
lawsuits.
Meek just volunteered this
Yeah,
information.
he's not the only rapper from Philly.
He was on the stand?
No, he just was on Twitter. Or X.
So he took this. Meek, you got
He took the Twitter
I just
stand.
don't understand why.
Why?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to keep bringing myself back up into this.
Nobody was talking about Meek in this situation. Did anybody talk about Meek in court?
No,
No.
not yet.
Nobody talking about you, Meek. Why?
But to Meek's defense, in the beginning, when them lawsuits dropped and they was mentioning the rapper and all that, people was like, Meek, Meek.
That feel like
a year
years
ago, yeah,
that feel like years ago.
honestly,
Nobody cares.
yeah.
Nobody's thinking about you,
Meek
Meek.
said, hold up, wait a minute.
And then
Y'all thought I was finished.
Yeah, he was like, and we did not dress alike. Yo, we wasn't twinning. I got
that's
my
what it is.
outfit first.
You know what it is when you and we got to go to Donkey today, but you know what it is when you are at home on your phone and your timeline is constantly filled with pictures of you and Diddy dressed alike and people saying things about you and Diddy. You think the whole world is talking about it. That's your small bubble, Meek. No, I promise you nobody was thinking that,
I
my
just
brother.
don't want him to insert himself in
No,
this.
please.
We gotta wrap up.
Don't. Donkey today is up next. It's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club.
Wake that ass up
early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.